make sure you guys were up this morning. So, welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We're on site, on location at Marywood University. This is the Marywood Mania Takeover. As you know, every single Friday between the hour of 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, we have new editions of Pacer Pride. Rob Ahrens has joined us on that, the head coach of the men's and women's cross country and track and field team. He's going to be doing something else eventually so that I can add something else to that title. But very happy to have you all here. We're going to be joined today as well by Marywood Pacers women's lacrosse head coach Kerrie Brown, men's basketball head coach Enrico Mastroianni, inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. A lot of great stuff coming up. Very happy to be here. This is an impromptu. We decided to do a bonus Pacer Pride ×3 at least on site, on location at Marywood University. We're in the Hall of Fame room. We're overlooking practice right now with John Butash and the crew. So hope you're all doing well and hope you're staying safe. Of course, like I said, we're in the Cafe Kubal studios. Cafe Kubal here on 3501 James Street, 401 South Salina Street, both in Syracuse, and of course at the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road in North Syracuse at Sweetheart Corners. You can also find them inside of Golisano's Children's Hospital in downtown Syracuse and at their giant behemoth of a brown stripe building, 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York. So we're inside the Cafe Kubal studios. Pacer Pride episodes air exclusively on Wake Up Call in our multimedia marketing partnership every Friday. But today on a Tuesday, we have taken over, and Marywood University has locked me in this building, and the entire show is coming to you from Marywood. Rob, how you doing today?
Good, doing well. Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing very well, and you know, we were talking about this off the air, but hopefully someday we can show our faces.
Yes.
So
looking forward to that day for sure.
You know, and the thing is it's been a beautiful day. You know, we've had so many pretty days. It's cold, it's like 9 degrees outside.
Yeah.
But the skies have been blue, and I'm a glass half full guy. So, you know, but you training these track and field and cross country student athletes, do you ever, and you did it yourself, does your body ever get used to the cold weather because you're out there so much?
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. Up to a certain point. I mean, I think a day like today where it's single digits, where it's pretty frigid out there, it's kind of hard to prepare for that. I think, but you definitely do. You know, build your body adapts to the weather as you're out there more and more often. And the nice thing about, you know, especially our cross-country runners, since they're basically running all year round,
yeah.
You know, from their season starts in August, and then the outdoor season ends in May, so they kind of have that, you know, progressive adaptation where, you know, when they start running, it's hot, and that's a weather thing to deal with as well. The heat can be really a challenge as well, and then, you know, they're training through into the winter and the colder months. So, you know, it's one thing to go, you know, and that's a weather, weather, but as you're kind of getting used to it, you know, through training all year round, that definitely makes a big difference. But we're really looking forward to some warmer weather, that's for sure. There's still about half the track is still covered in ice. So we're hoping maybe by the end of this week, I think it's supposed to be almost 60 here on Thursday. So we're really hoping, you know, by the end of the week here, beginning of next week, we'll be able to get out and get on the track.
Yeah, you know, and you, I mean, like you said, dealing with this different weather and whatnot. I mean, you deal with it, lacrosse deals with it. The reality that you couldn't be practicing when there's snow piles in the corner, you know, and just how do you navigate that? I mean, you've done it for so long, so I'm guessing maybe the brain doesn't even think about it anymore. But I always find it interesting that whenever we see track and field and cross country pictures, it looks beautiful behind you. So I just wonder how many times there's a green screen guy that's running behind you all when you're out there.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I think the weather doesn't always come through in the pictures, because, like you said, I mean, today it looks beautiful out there, but it's pretty cold. So there definitely are, especially our early outdoor track meets are pretty can be pretty cold, pretty windy, you know, and can be a challenge. I mean, I think the one thing that really helps us with dealing with the weather is having that ability to adapt and that mindset where you can adapt and be ready for anything. You know, if we have a specific workout plan or a location that we had planned to practice in, but the weather just doesn't cooperate, being able to shift and be ready for anything. I mean, I think that really is something that our student athletes do really well, and dealing with these kind of weather situations actually helps them prepare for that. So when we get into a competition and something pops up that they weren't prepared for, or they didn't expect, I mean, our student athletes are ready for that because they've experienced it. They've been through situations where they were expecting to do one thing at practice and they show up and we have to totally change gears.
Yeah.
And so it's definitely a challenge, but it's something that really can help us as well.
Yeah, and you speak about the student athletes here as we are in the Marywood Mania Takeover is what I'm calling it today. Pacer Pride all throughout the entire show. You can make sure that your exclusive Pacer Pride episodes airing every Friday during Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora in the 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. hour, and this being a bonus edition of our Marywood coverage as we're here to start today's broadcast with Rob Ahrens. Rob, we were talking also off the air about the fact that there's a bunch of records that have been set. It seems like your social media is always bringing good news. The Atlantic, I think the Atlantic East starts and stops at Marywood University. I'm pretty confident that they might as well just put their business office right over here. So bring me into, what we've been able to celebrate here recently.
Yeah, so this past Friday we went to a meet called the Fast Track Invitational at Ocean Breeze Athletic Complex, which is on Staten Island. And it was a really competitive, really elite level meet. Athletes from Division III to Division I teams were there. Just a great atmosphere, a ton of energy in the venue. I mean, I went down to talk with one of our 400 runners before her race. Went down to the track, and I could barely hear myself think. It was so loud. Like the team, everybody was screaming and really getting into it, which was really cool. So stuff like that where you get good competition, a good environment, a fast track to run on. That's a bank track there, which really helps for indoor track and field. And yeah, we had 3 school records come down. We had our women's 400 school record was set by Mariam Hamidi. And then we had our men's 800 school record, and that was set by Mike Kelly. And then we had, our mile. The women's mile record was set by our freshman Milena Straub, and actually we had 2 people run under the previous school record in the women's mile. It was previously 5:34. Milena ran 5:27, and Katie Shea ran 5:28. So right there behind her. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, it was a very exciting meet, very productive. It was definitely worth the trip going over there. And pretty much everybody that ran at that meet set a PR. Had a big. We had a number of huge drops in time from our previous meets and things like that. So it was a really special night. It was really fun to be a part of.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And congratulations to all your student athletes. I mean, you have done so much in such a short amount of time here. And I know that you're very humble about it, but I don't know if you've ever been on the show where we're not talking about a record or some type of a win or something happening. I'm still waiting for my Atlantic East banner because I told you have too many and I want one in my studio. But you seem like, we were here at one of the whiteout basketball game when I was emceeing and announcing that game, and you just came over, and if people didn't know, you just look like somebody in the community. You're like, hey, I want to come over, I wanted to say hello. Very humble, very calm, very welcoming. You don't carry an ego. You don't carry, all of your trophies and medals kind of around your neck everywhere you go, and I know that you're proud of what you've done. But just what you could say about the humble side of it, because we live in a me society, it feels like a lot now, and very rarely, if ever, do I hear you say anything about it unless I ask you about it.
Well, yeah, I think that's part of just kind of our culture or the team dynamic that we try to put forth in really connecting what we're doing to a higher purpose, a higher, something greater than ourselves. putting the needs of the team or our teammates above each individual. Our student athletes really buy into that and really believe in that, and they see kind of how that makes a difference for them. And so, you know, I try to do the same and model that as well. I mean, there's so many things I love about coaching, the opportunities that it provides to make a difference in someone's life is really what those are the opportunities that mean the most to me. So, you know, having school records is great, and I'm a very competitive person. I think you talk to, you know, pretty much anybody who I've played any sort of a game with, you'll know they'll tell you how competitive I am. But at the end of the day, you know, it's what I really value most is those opportunities to really step in and make a meaningful difference in someone's life. And you know, the school records were great, but I got a message from one of our student athletes the next day just thanking me for something that I said, you know, just stepped over and said to her right before her race. And you know, she said it was like the perfect thing, exactly what she needed to hear. And you know, that's the kind of thing that really, you know, I'm striving for, and I want to be modeling that as much as possible. So that was really, yeah, more things. So not always.
And that's the thing, is that, you know, sometimes, you know, like you said, you stumble across the right thing to say and it just works, but you don't know what works for everybody.
Exactly.
How do you learn how to coach different personalities, and how do you learn how to adjust to people, because it's not always easy to do that?
Yeah, well, it definitely is something that comes with time, and I'm thankful for to be coaching a sport where we do have multiple seasons, where we have more opportunities to interact with the student athletes and really get to know them on an individual level. We do a number of individual meetings and series of individual meetings where, you know, they have the opportunity to really just communicate some things to me that maybe we don't always have time to talk about in practice or at meets and things like that. So, you know, those opportunities are really, I think, where I get that chance to just get to know them a little bit more and figure out what works for them and what doesn't, and how we can, you know, better help them. So.
Yeah, you know, and I think, you know, for you looking forward, I mean, what are the goals? Well, I mean, you've reached so many things, you've attained so many things in a short amount of time at Marywood University. So, you know, what do you set for yourself? What's on the calendar? What's kind of there with you in the background of what you're doing? Because you've had so much success individually, you've had so much success as a team, you've had so much success in the conference. So where do you go from here? What's on the sticky note now?
Well, a few things. We're getting ready for our All-Atlantic Region Track and Field Conference Championship. That's a mouthful. My title's a mouthful. That's a mouthful as well. But that's coming up at the first weekend in March. We do have our men's mile runner, Jack Baronski, is qualified for that in the mile. So our focus over the next couple weeks is to try to add a few more qualifications to that meet, get a few more people into that meet. And see what we can do when we get to that point. That's
add
more
a
of
few
a
more
regional
qualifications
meet.
to that
So,
meet, get a few more
stepping up the
people
level of
into that meet,
competition, within the
and
region.
see
And
what
then,
we can do when we get to that
forward,
point.
that's
Add
more
a
of
few
a
more
regional
qualifications
meet.
to that
So,
meet, get a few more
stepping up the level
people
of
into that
competition
meet,
outdoors,
and see
and
what we can do when we get to that point.
forward,
Add a few more qualifications to that meet, get a few more.
Beyond that, I mean, we are hoping and striving and pushing to qualify some individuals for the national championship. That's something that hasn't been done yet in the program history. So that really is kind of a long-term, you know, something that we're really working towards and trying to help our student athletes develop to get to that point where that's a realistic goal for them.
Yeah.
And it's getting, I mean, Division III track and field is getting extremely competitive. It's getting more and more difficult to make that meet. So it's definitely a challenge, but it's one that we're really pushing for, and I know is in the, you know, is on the sticky notes of some of our student athletes for sure. That's something that's one of their goals for sure.
And before we take our first step aside, and Kerrie Brown will be joining us in just a a minute here in the Marywood Mania Takeover of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You're used to Pacer Pride every single week, and now we have an entire broadcast today on an extra day of the week here on a beautiful Tuesday where it's a sunny 9 degrees outside, but very excited to be here at Marywood University and so happy to be with so many smiling faces underneath these masks that we know exist here. And the last thing that I would love, and I know that winning helps and success helps, but just what you want to say to the community about, your recruiting footprint and kind of what you're looking to accomplish and what you're looking to do for people that are out there in high school looking for a home.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think I would just come back to some of the things that I talked about that is important to our program. If you're looking for a place where you really want to be a part of a family and you have that atmosphere on a track team, that's kind of rare in track and field because you do have so many different athletes doing different types of things, different types of training in different areas. And we really do have that family atmosphere and have the just the bonds, the really close bonds that make not just our time in practice and meets, but throughout the week and just developing those relationships that last for a lifetime. I think that's one of the most important things to us and things that we work really hard to promote in our program. So yeah, I mean, I think that is our main focus within our pretty much everything that we do.
Yeah.
So that's something that I think is really attractive and really can help any student athlete going into a totally new place, totally new environment. To be able to have that family that has your back, I think is really cool.
Yeah, and it sounds like you get to know them and get to know their personalities and that you have really found a way to reach out and get the best out of your student athletes. And it seems like you all have fun together, which is important.
Yeah, for sure.
So that coming from Rob Ahrens, the head coach of Marywood Pacers men's and women's cross country and track and field, here with us this morning in Marywood Mania, our takeover of Marywood University on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Rob, as always, I appreciate it. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. We'll be joined by Kerrie Brown, Marywood Women's Lacrosse, right after this fast break. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Did you get the Wordle this morning?
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cabal needs. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
All right, and welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Proud to be here with you inside of the Cafe Kubal Travel Studios as we are here on site, on location at Marywood University, and very happy to be here as Kerrie Brown is now joining us. Kerrie was with me when I was on site in sunny Florida. It was just a couple days ago that Kerrie and I were talking, and I had the opportunity to speak with you when it was 82 degrees outside. So happy to be here with you, Kerrie. How you doing?
Practice was feels like 2 this morning.
So
It was a cold one.
So how is everything, and just what you can say about, obviously, your experience. We talked about a lot of different things here recently, and we had the opportunity to speak about a lot of different pieces that you've been able to accomplish here in recruiting and whatnot, but how is everything going?
Good, everything's good. We're about a week away from our first game down at Wilkes, so the girls are getting excited. Just hoping that the weather can break a little bit. The cold is really, really tough, but part of the elements that we play with, so just excited to be about a week away from that opening draw.
Yeah, and being that close to it, I spoke with Rob about it and his experience of the fact that you could be training and practicing when there's snow piles in the corner. Have you ever gotten used to that?
No. No, I don't think you do. I think it is just a reality of the sport.
Yeah.
Our grounds guys do a nice job breaking it up, so it's not as terrible, but yeah, it's just part of the sport, living in the Northeast, and fortunately we have a really nice turf, and it cleared off for us pretty early, so we're good to go.
And when I was here at Marywood, and I was here from 2003 to 2007, we didn't have the grounds that we have today and the turf that we had today and a lot of the fields even that we had today and what certain things look like now. Just what you could say about the evolution. I know you mentioned the turf and just what it's meant to you that Marywood has invested in their athletics.
Yeah, and it's a necessity that you have to invest in athletics at small universities because it's a major component to recruitment and the social campus of colleges. So the fact that they've invested in, our turf is nice. Rob Gildary, our grounds guy, does a really good job with it. They're keeping things clean, but yeah, it's nice to have the turf and to have the facility to use pretty much right off the bat for our young people to, get in and get moving with.
Yeah, and I love the fact that we're here and we have two different sports and we have the opportunity to show the personalities. So we do a thing on my show called Tell Me Something Good. Rob, I would love for you to tell me something good. Once again, Rob Ahrens here with us, a men's and women's cross country and track and field head coach, and Kerrie Brown, Marywood women's lacrosse head coach. Tell me something good about Kerrie.
Oh, okay. So, a lot to choose from here. Let's see. Well, I'll say this. Last night, Coach Brown and I were working the basketball games together. She was doing the shot clock, and I was managing the site for the games. And Kerrie knows that I have a sweet tooth. So there was some free treats being given away across campus, and I alerted her to that, and said, hey, if you happen to swing by and pick me up some cookies and treats and stuff like that, I wouldn't complain. It's going to be a long night. And sure enough, a whole bag full of Rice Krispie treats and muffins or cupcakes. What else is in there? Starburst, Reese's. It was like a whole meal's worth of sweet treats. So that really helped the night go by and things like that. So yeah, she definitely knows how to take care of my sweet tooth there for sure.
So Kerrie's very thoughtful.
Yes, there you go.
Kerrie, what made you? Now, when he says, "Hey, I know that there's treats across campus. Could you grab me something?" What he just described you got him was what I would consider to be a care package from like a friend that truly appreciates you. Like my mom and my dad, fantastic. I love my parents, fantastic people. My mom, as awesome as my Italian mother is, she almost never sent me a care package. And I asked her, I was like, Mom, what the heck? You know what I mean? Like, all these kids get Halloween stuff and this, that, whatever. You gave Rob the care package I never got. Why did you include about 72 things in that?
So Rob and I are actually in grad school together, hopefully to be graduates in May. And
Congratulations, I know we talked about that.
Yeah, we as being students, you get the perks of the student activities that are going on campus. And so we kind of remind each other about things that are going on, and we walk over and we participate together, kind of deal. And I also know that Rob, I mean, he runs millions of miles a day, but he would eat sweets for breakfast, lunch, and dinner if he could. So when the opportunity presented and they had a smorgasbord of, you know, sweet treats for Valentine's Day, I just like went over there and grabbed some stuff and threw it in a bag and brought it over because I didn't really know what he wanted. It just kind of, it just was what it was. It was presented to me. You know, they were trying to, you know, kind of close up the event, so I helped them close up the event. And I know that Rob benefited and really enjoyed it. And so that was, for me, I think that's part of, like, our community of coaches and athletes is, like, we do for others, so it's that piece.
It reminds me of exactly who I am. And I feel like Vince Vaughn and I have similarities. Running Stream of Consciousness is one of them. But the other one is in the movie, the internship. When he goes up to the thing at Google, and he's like, oh, can I grab a bagel? And he's like, yeah, they're free. He said, what do you mean? He's like, well, then I guess I'll grab 2, maybe 4 of them. He's like, one of 5. He's like, just make it a half dozen, it's fine. And then he got some chips at salsa, got some bananas, got one of those guzzlers or whatnot. That's exactly Kerrie. I mean, it's like, you know what? I mean, if it's free, why not? And I've learned as I've gotten older to not feel bad when I'm at a media event like the ACC tournament, and I want to out myself because this is in a couple weeks, but I never buy, like they have these ice cream bars, like the Magnum ones with the chocolate and the caramel and all that. I never buy them in the store because they're like $7. However, when I'm at the ACC tournament event, I'll eat like 2 of those a day because I'm like, Dan, you're not going to eat these for the rest of the year. So I do everything I can to pack. I eat some for myself, put some in the bag for the hotel, take some for myself, and then back for the hotel. So I hope I don't get in trouble for that, but I'm all about the snacks. So Kerrie, tell me something good about Rob. Since you have given him a fantastic care package, I hope he's done something nice for you.
I mean, I think Rob's like super thoughtful as well. So I think like through this whole process, like, we've always been pretty close as coaches, but in the last 2 years of just like reminding each other and like, hey, how are you doing in school? And we talk about different things that are going on. Yeah. And he's just got like a caring personality. So that for me is like super helpful, that like when assignments are going on or due dates or whatever, just that reminder. We've worked on group projects together and it's like, yep, I'll do this, you do this. And then we just kind of come together. And so he's really, you know, just caring about that and, you know, just a positive smile on campus. So it's nice to have as well.
What is it about, and Kerrie, I'm going to stay with you for this, but when we're describing a Marywood Pacer, how would you describe it? I know you and I have talked about recruiting and your message, but when somebody says to you, what's a Pacer? Like, what does this logo really embody for you? How would you describe it?
I just think it's a kid with a greater purpose. And so they're career-driven or academic-driven. They play sports. They're on student activities committees. It's kind of that do-it-all type kid. And they have the ability to do it all at a small university. I mean, we're not that small, but we're small enough where you can get involved in your major, you can get involved in campus, you can get involved in a sorority, you can get involved in your faith, you can get involved in sports teams. And so, and people work together. So, you know, they don't have to sacrifice athletics for academics, and they don't have to sacrifice academics for athletics. It's a mutual partnership. And so I think for, you know, a young person that wants to become a Pacer, it has to be that holistic student that wants to, you know, be involved in their college process and be involved in their maturity to becoming an adult and to being a career person.
I love that. Rob, I don't know how you follow that up, but how would you describe what it means to be a Pacer?
Well, I mean, I guess as Kerrie was talking there, I was just thinking about one of the Pacers slogans, Pacers Never Stop. And I think that kind of what you described kind of embodies that slogan. You know, our student athletes are really busy, involved in a lot of things. You know, literally from sun up to sundown. I mean, we started practice at 6:15 this morning, and so before the sun came up, and some of them are going to be in classes till 9 p.m. tonight, and
Yeah.
but it really does kind of give them that opportunity to get the most out of their college experience and have so many opportunities to be involved in so many different things and interact with so many different types of people, make different types of friends, different perspectives. It's a really cool place because of that.
Yeah, and it's amazing to have, and I know, I mean, like I said, being here from 2003 to 2007, it feels like family, it feels like home. There's places that I went to, I said my high school didn't feel like that. And I tell people all the time, I'm like, there's no question that I would give to Marywood. And I think what I've realized now, and maybe Kerrie knows this, but when we do Giving Day, I'm very specific. I don't just like give. I want to give to the people I care about. And so I know there was like a turf war with you and Enrico. And so I gave to Enrico, and then I gave to Kerrie, and I put Kerrie over the threshold of where she needed to be when I gave. And now I'm realizing that as I talk to you all, I have to spread the wealth and do everything that I can. But I love the fact that in the middle of COVID, in the middle of a pandemic, we're doing Giving Day. And, I was able to give to some different places, and I'm talking to Jen about it. I'm talking to Enrico, talking to Kerrie. And it's just really amazing what you've all been able to do at a time where people have struggled, at a time where people are losing their jobs, at a time where people were scared, at a time where people were confused. Marywood, I don't know, it seemed like we thrived by reaching out to the community, and I think that says a lot about who we are. I think it says a lot about the alumni. I think it says a lot about how they care about the athletic programs, and I think it says a lot about your personalities and your ability to connect, because people will give when they have. I always say, my mom, if she had $5 in her pocket, she'll give you 6. And I feel like we saw a lot of people give to Marywood in that way. And Rob, I haven't experienced you on Giving Day yet, and now I will. But Kerrie, you're a dog. I mean, you're in it, and I love the tenacity of it. That you want to be right at the top of it all, and you guys did an incredible job.
Yeah, I'm super transparent with my donors, where the money goes and how it's used to benefit the student athletes, and that it's important to the experience of the college process. And so I value that wholeheartedly. I value my donors a lot. I don't think I say thank you enough. I try, but I mean, it is important, and it's also important that my young men give back. That is a known thing. Men do give back to athletics. It's just proven. You can look at the statistics, but I think it's also important that the women give back, and that they find philanthropy in what they liked. And so I think that with my young alumni, I don't need millions, but just to give back and just to see the name on the scroll is really, really powerful for the current athletes. But yes, Giving Day is important. I do value it. I think we value any donations on Giving Day or not on Giving Day. And I think that donors have to understand how awesome it is for our student athletes, and that the money goes directly to them, and directly to their benefit. And so, when you can give to a certain foundation, and then it can go directly to them, exactly where it's going, and you can see the impacts of it. I think that's really, really important for people to kind of attach to, and that's kind of how I've always been.
And Rob, what would you say about it? I mean, because with Division III, there aren't these millions of dollars kind of just set there in a fund waiting for you. So things like Marywood Giving Day are imperative for you to do the job that you want to do the way that you want to do it. And I mean, you guys care so much about your teams that becomes such a vital day and such an important day. And really throughout the year, like Kerrie said, whenever people donate, because in Division III, you're bringing it in. I mean, you essentially are a head coach, and you are the fundraising representative of your team.
Yeah, I mean, it really does just help enhance the experience for the student athlete. I mean, we talked earlier about just having that connection, having that sense of family, and those bonds don't develop by themselves. You need to be intentional about developing those. So being able to have some more opportunities with some additional funding to be able to do some fun things, or do some apparel things that are maybe above and beyond what we would normally do, and things like that. I mean, it sounds like a little thing, but it really goes a long way in just building that sense of community and belonging, and just makes it overall a better experience for the student athlete.
That coming here from Rob Ahrens as well as Kerrie Brown, myself, Dan Tortora. We're in the Marywood Mania Takeover. Enrico Mastroianni coming up soon. Before we go to that, I want to do a thing on the show called Rapid Fire, and you guys both, I think, know how to play this one. It's got nothing to do with sports, but we get to ask each other questions that are totally wherever we want them to go. There is no preparation whatsoever. It's in the moment, instantaneous. We're going to do a round robin, kind of like one this way, one back. So, Kerrie, I'm going to start with you. My first question to you is, if you could jump into the world of any movie or any TV show, what world would you want to live in for a day?
Below Deck.
Okay. And I know that show very well. And if the funny irony is, you're Kerrie with an E at the end.
Yeah.
My girlfriend Kerrie without the E at the end, but spelled the exact same way. Beyond that, she and I have watched Below Deck. She's a big fan of the captain. We watched this past season where they had like the faux captain, the fake guy for like a day, and how much they didn't like him. So why Below Deck?
I love water. I love swimming. I love tropics, and those boats are awesome. And I just think it would be like living outside of my body, and it's like the lap of luxury. So for me, it's like everything that I like. Warm weather and water, and just being on the boats. I could just do it. I probably could be like a stewardess or like a deck person. And really enjoy it.
Yeah, and you know what? I feel like your personality would fit. I could see you on one of those boats, having watched the show a bunch of times.
Good reality TV star,
Yeah, I think you could. Maybe you would bring some real reality to fake reality, as we know that it's reality, but it's not. So, what's your question for me, Kerrie?
Who was your favorite professor at Marywood?
Oh man, that's a good question. Oh, I would have to. Oh geez.
Let's go rapid fire. Let's go.
I know. I'm thinking about.
He's got to think.
I'm thinking about my major, and I'm thinking about liberal arts. I would have to say. This is easy. I don't even know why this didn't come to me first. So, he passed away, but Jay Hammerin was 70% of the reason why I came to Marywood. When I came to visit for the first time, I came with my dad. My mom couldn't come on the first one. And when we came out here, he greeted me, knew my name, came out. He said, "Hey, you must be Dan Tortora. We've been expecting you." And I just remember thinking to myself, like, why did he roll out the red carpet? Like, the way he treated me, it was like, whatever you want. It was just me and him. And that's what I love about Marywood, is it's like, as much as it's grown and different things that have happened and the upgrades and facilities, and it's constantly evolving, I never felt like a number here. I always felt like I mattered. And from the day I walked in, and I remember meeting him thinking to myself, like, I don't know if I'm going to get this experience. I don't know if I could go anywhere else. And then he was with me really all the way through until he passed. And we were his last class. We showed up for the class, and nobody had known at the time that he had passed away. So I would have to say Jay, because he worked with me on screenwriting. I created my own story and wrote the first 88 pages to what I would do in a Spider-Man movie. And this was back in like 2006. So he just, I don't know, he changed my life in a big way. I would also say Roseanne Martinetti, and she is at a different school now, but she helped me do the Disney College program. So, and she's kept in touch with me to this day. She's had me come and speak at entrepreneurship and business events and whatnot. So I would say Roseanne and Jay probably stick out the most. It's a good question. I've never been asked that before. All right, Rob.
My turn.
Yes. So I'm gonna throw one at you.
Uh-oh.
If you could be a fly on the wall anywhere in the country right now at any event, where would you go?
Oh boy.
And why would you want to be there?
All right. So, I guess it has to be kind of a sports theme with the Olympics going on right now. I will say I definitely prefer the Summer Olympics to the Winter Olympics. I know, maybe that's controversial, but obviously with track and field there and things like that.
Yeah.
But I did actually have the opportunity to go to the Winter Olympics in 2004 when they were in Salt Lake City. I was pretty young at that point, but I don't remember a ton. But we got to go to the and watch the luge. And basically, the only thing that you do when you watch the luge is do this. because they're going so fast. That's really all you get to see. So I would say I'd like to be a fly on the wall in one of those things, like being able to experience like going that fast, like the luge, the skeleton. I don't know if they do that anymore. The bobsled, something like that.
Yeah.
Just that looks like so much fun to me. So yeah.
I would like to be, and this is only because I grew up as a child spoiled with TV shows and movies. I want to be on the Jamaican bobsled team with Cool Runnings.
They're back this year, I heard.
I
right?
know,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah,
incredible.
so.
And the bobsled's really cool. What's your question for me?
Okay, let's see. I'm assuming you watched the Super Bowl, right? Dumb
Yes.
question, maybe.
Yeah.
But what was your favorite commercial in the Super Bowl?
Oh, I mean, there was a lot of. I missed some stuff in the beginning because I was flying, so I feel like maybe I missed the best because that's usually in the beginning.
Yeah, they usually do those in the beginning.
But I mean, I got to see. I believe that Alexa is constantly recording me, and I don't like that. I shut her off when I talk about certain things. I'm like, you know what? You don't need to know about my bank account, Alexa. I'm gonna pull you out the wall. I'm waiting for her to like spin blue when she's pulled out of the wall. But so I think the commercial with Colin Jost and Scarlett Johansson. But I mean, we were talking about it before. I'm a big Marvel guy. Doctor Strange, his first official trailer. And for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and then I would have to also say I'm a big fan of Moon Knight. I like Oscar Isaac, so I'm excited for that TV show. So I'd probably say like the spots for the movies.
Nice.
And I can't watch the Mandalorian preview because I haven't watched Boba Fett yet, so I've stayed away from that.
Yeah.
All right, I want you guys to throw one at each other before we take a step aside and get ready for Enrico. So Rob, go ahead and throw one at Kerrie.
Let's see. All right, Kerrie. Favorite restaurant in Scranton?
Can I have had taken from there?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so I think my favorite restaurant in Scranton is going to be. This is a hard one. It's either Sibio's or Bar Pazzo. And I haven't been to either one. I've had taken from both multiple times. I don't know. I just really like their flavors. I think I'd say Sibio's just because I've had like a bunch of different things from there, and everything's good. Everything is good. It's just unbelievable. Like it's just really like their pork chops are good. Their chicken Marcel is good. I mean, it's unreal. But the meatballs at Bar Pazzo are pretty good too.
Did you say, no, you didn't say takeout, you said taken?
Taken?
Yeah, I've never heard it that way.
Isn't that what you do? You take it in?
Yeah, you do. You know what? But I always say
I've always said
takeout.
takeout as well.
Yeah,
But I
so
know
I've
what
never
you're
heard
talking
taken.
about.
I like
Yeah.
that. I didn't know if that was like, well, because you're an upstate New Yorker.
I don't know. That's what we do. We take it in.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Take
I
out,
like
take
taken.
out, take
Now,
in.
now, where are you? Now, I like it. I want to use it now. Where are you originally from?
West Irondequoit, right up
Okay.
on the lake.
Okay, so that's like in proximity to Syracuse. How far?
An hour and 17 minutes from the dome.
Hour and 17 minutes from the
Yep,
dome.
go straight up I-90, get off at exit 45 to Victor,
Well, and I
go
asked
all
that
the way down
because
590.
we have stuff that when I came here to Marywood in Scranton, 2 hours south, people told me, number one, I had an accent. And they said the way you say your A's and your IREs, because I don't say
Fire.
fire, I say fire. They said it sounded like a growl. I don't know, I don't hear it. But I ask about when you said taken, because I don't call them lollipops, I call them suckers.
Suckers.
And like there's different things that I said here that people treated me like I was from another planet. So I just find it interesting that like upstate New York, we have our stuff. Like, do you know what a kegli is?
A what?
A kegli?
Nope.
So just in Syracuse, there's these long donuts. It's not an eclair. There's not filled with anything. It's chocolate on top or vanilla on top, and they're like the best donuts in the world. And they're right there at Lincourt Bakery and some of our other bakeries. But if you leave like a 30-mile radius, no one knows what a kegli is.
Is it spelled Kuegle?
No, it's like Kiglee or something like that.
No. I've been to Lincourt Bakery, and I've had what you're talking about. I just didn't know what they were called.
I love the fact that you've been to Lincourt Bakery.
My best friend lived in Solvay right there.
It makes me the happiest person in the world to know that I've talked to now 3 people recently that have been to Lincourt Bakery.
You Half Moon cookies.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, and they're not called Black and Whites, New York City. They're called Half Moons. So stop that. Kerrie, what's your question for Rob? I like that she's smiling under the mask right now.
You have more time to think about it.
I know. You only can eat one sweet for the rest of your life.
Oh man.
Only one.
Easy. It's got to be peanut butter chocolate. Something peanut butter chocolate, whether that's Reese's or something like that. That's like the match made in heaven there, peanut butter and chocolate. So
I got trees in my freezer.
yeah,
get one.
yeah.
See, and that's the thing. You put it in, like, that's what I did. I did that on vacation. I put my Twix in the fridge. Yep. You always put, like, I don't know, stuff tastes better when it's, and if...
See, I disagree. My parents, my mom always put everything in the refrigerator. I distinctly, vividly remember this. This is how important sweets are to me.
Yeah,
we went to a chocolate factory, and they said that it's not good for the taste. You lose some of the taste, it dries out when you put it in the refrigerator. So
it's like certain things, but Reese's and Twix taste good in the fridge. And like a Cadbury egg, you can't because it's supposed to be creamy. Mm-hmm. You can't put that in the fridge. Yeah. But the other stuff, like, you can get away with. I did find out that when M&Ms have that smell and that certain taste when you first open them, the only way that I could preserve that taste is to put them in the freezer.
Okay.
So the M&M thing, that works. Because if you leave them out, they start to get this weird taste.
So you actually open a bag of M&Ms and don't finish the whole thing?
I'm talking about a big bag.
He runs 10 miles for fun.
Yeah, I was like, it's a big bag. Yeah, if I'm gonna eat like the jumbo Walmart bag, then I'm gonna be running with you. So, with that being said, Kerrie Brown here of Marywood Women's Lacrosse, the head coach, starting very, very soon, and then we have Rob Ahrens here of men's and women's cross country and track and field. It is the Marywood Mania Takeover coming up after the fast break. Enrico Mastroianni joins the show. For Kerrie, for Rob, and myself, Dan Tortora, thank you so much for being here with us. We have plenty more to come with some fantastic conversation. Kerrie, thank you. And Rob, thanks as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck with your sweets today.
Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout Central and Upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. As a patient, what do we want? To be cared for, to be listened to, and to have someone walk us through the process on our path to victory. Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics does all of those things beautifully, with Dr. Mark Petropoli leading the team on 791 West Genesee Street in Skaneateles, New York, located minutes from beautiful Skaneateles Lake. Whatever your injury may be from head to toe, preventative care, rehab, physical therapy, laser therapy, and surgery are all available at Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, where they care about us, they listen to us, and they understand that everyone's path to victory is a little bit different. Let them help you on yours by calling 315-685-7544 to make your appointment today. That's 315-685-7544. And find out more information at victorysportsmedicine.com.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on WakeUpCallDT.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/WakeUpCallDT, hanging out with you where sports meets that thing called life. And we are here inside of Marywood University for what I'm calling the Marywood Mania Takeover. So we do Pacer Pride every single month, weekly on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and Pacer Pride, part of our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership, where you have Marywood coverage every week, every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Unprecedented spotlight on Marywood University, my alma mater. Today I decided to do a bonus show, come to Marywood in Scranton, and take over the Hall of Fame room with the coaches here at Marywood University. And here with me now is Marywood Pacers men's basketball head coach, coming onto the show for the first time, Enrico Mastroianni. No, this is, how many times have you been on there?
I can't count. I have no idea.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
And when you're all done coaching, you know, and when you're old and gray, you can come on the show and be a broadcaster.
We're close. It's getting there.
Don't do it. Don't do it. My mom always apologizes to me for me having it on the side, because she had her first one when she was 19.
Yeah.
So she always apologizes to me. People are like, "What happened to you?" I was like, "Ex-girlfriends." That's what happened to me.
Coaching is my excuse, so that's the best I could say.
That's okay. But we're here with Enrico Mastroianni. We're happy to be here with you where sports meets that thing called life. And Enrico, you know, just your take. I mean, it's been a season of ups and downs. There's been adversity. There's been huge moments. There's been moments where you're right there. This has definitely been a learning curve season for the team, and you know, it tests your mettle, which I think is a good thing. So just what you could say about it.
Yeah, we've had our fair share of challenges. I mean, all teams have, I guess, this year, and you know, throughout this pandemic, it's been unpredictable. We've had some games postponed. We've had a game canceled. We've had some guys unable to participate for various reasons, and you know, you try to make the best of it. You try to keep it together as much as you can, and I think we do have a resilient bunch. They keep coming to work every day. They keep fighting. They're a hard-working group. But you know, we have.
I think we do have a resilient bunch. They keep coming to work every day. They keep fighting.
I know you and I have talked
They're a
about this in the
hardworking
past.
group.
It's a very young team.
But you know, we have.
I
I think we do have a resilient bunch. They keep coming to work every day.
Upperclassmen that play significant minutes. Other than that, it's mostly freshmen and sophomores. And so when you look at the teams that we're battling with, you know, the majority of them are playing with, you know, 4 or 5 seniors or grad students combined, and you know, it's tough to overcome those circumstances. But we're not making any excuses. We've had opportunities to win games, and late in the game we've let it slip away. And whether it's fatigue or execution, or you know, sometimes those things go hand in hand. It's just something that we have to get better at.
So what has been the message to the team, especially, you know, last night? You know, I know you had a game here recently. What's the message to the team in the locker room?
You know, we're not done. We're going to keep fighting, keep growing. You know, one thing that I guess, you know, is to our advantage is that the conference, and I think most leagues have decided to do this, is that, you know, they're allowing all teams are going to make the playoffs. So once we get to the playoff round, everybody's record is 0-0.
Yeah.
You know, you get to start over again. So we don't want to go in limping for sure. We want to make sure that we're playing our best basketball as we head into it. And we played really, really well last night for about 33 minutes. And there was just one stretch in the second half where out of a timeout, you know, we came out and, you know, kind of faltered a little bit, took a bad shot. You know, they scored in transition, came down, had a turnover. We had to foul. They hit a couple free throws, and all of a sudden, in the moment, you blink and you're down 10, you know, from a tie game. So it was, you know, it was tough to overcome that. Once we got into a deficit, it was hard to find our footing.
And so, I mean, for you, like you said, having such a young team, the thing that people don't understand in the moment of adversity, that adversity can really, I mean, you think about it, how diamonds are created, right? And how things, you know, pressure makes diamonds. And so when we look at that world that we live in, I mean, I think about things that we're big Marvel fans. I think about, you know, how did they forge the Infinity Gauntlet? You know, they had to put all that metal, they had to get the star, it's going to shoot toward it and everything like that. So there's so much adversity and there's so much going up the hill that needs to happen in order to get to that point of success. Your team struggling today, being young, is going to pay off dividends down the road, and next season and the season after that. What it does for this team is it builds experience and lets them know what it feels like to go through the adversity. And they're doing it as freshmen, they're doing it as sophomores. So I think, you know, when we look back on this in a couple of years and we see all this success and people say, well, how did this happen? Where did this come from? It came from those days where you were close, where you were tied, and there was some of that separation because they hadn't experienced it yet at the collegiate level. And now that they have and that they will, and getting in the weight room and improving themselves, and maybe running more, maybe watching some more film, these guys are going to adjust, they're going to learn, and what this team can be down the road. And I say that all the time, when there's an injury and somebody has to step up. Right. The next man up approach, or dealing with a young team approach, the beauty of that is what it does down the road. It's, I mean, you're essentially making an investment now for what you could see in 2023, 2024, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. And I think, you know, we know that. I'm aware, and our staff is aware. The hard part is for the players that sometimes they get a little bit discouraged. You know what I mean? In the moment, you get discouraged because you just see the losing. You just feel the losing. You don't see the investment, like you said. And sometimes, you know, in order to have success, you got to go through some struggle. And so that's the part that we're experiencing right now. Like I said, the season's not over. We still have a couple games, regular season games, and then the playoffs, and we're hoping to string a few wins together here at the end. What
I love about what you said is that everybody this year advances to the postseason because we've had so much taken away from us. What does it mean to you that that's what we're getting, that the Atlantic East has that model, and that they've said, hey, you know what? We're going to make sure that everybody has a shot at this, because you've dealt with different things and COVID pauses and season, not a season, and whatnot. I think it's a huge move. I think it's the right move, and just what it means to you to know that with everything taken away from these kids, they're going to have a chance, like you said, to start a season 0-0 in a few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, this, I can't, you know, state it enough. Like the stress and the pressure that have been on these kids, you know, throughout this entire season, and even the preseason and everything, with all the uncertainty of, you know, COVID testing and vaccinations, and, you know, here's protocol if this happens, if that happens. I mean, they've been through so much, and it really can challenge your mind and your emotions, you know. And so I think it's the right thing to do, to give everyone a chance to have some participation in the postseason. But at the same time, you know, we, like I said, we would want to earn it. You know, we would want to go in knowing that we deserve to be there, and I think you know, that's still the ultimate goal for us. Our guys are still fighting the same cause and trying to push in the right direction.
Yeah, you know, and I think it's huge. And what I love about what we've done in this Marywood Mania Takeover is that not only have we had coaches come on here, but we've had coaches cross. And in just a few minutes, we're going to be joined by a coach we haven't had on the broadcast, who's wearing some nice shoes right now off camera. Yeah. And so I'm very excited that Jason Thiel is going to be joining us here, head baseball coach of Marywood University for the Pacers. So he'll be joining us after the fast break. We're going to have some fun with the three of us on camera. But before that happens, Enrico, I brought something from my trip at Disney.
Look at that.
So I have, and it was cool who checked this out and who saw this, is that when Rob Ahrens came in, I didn't know that he was a fan of Doctor Strange and all that stuff. So from the Disney trip, we have a Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness bands, magic band, and there's 2,000 in the world. So you see that limit to 2,000.
Look at you.
And we see these pieces and all the characters that are on here. I said I got it for the box even more than the wristbands. But what do you think about that, being a Marvel fan?
That's really impressive. And I heard you talking about the trailer, and that was really impressive. So I'm really looking forward to that.
I laid in bed last night. I watched the trailer again with my headphones on. And then I watched the breakdown of the trailer because I have my Superpowered Pop show, as you know, where I do my entertainment stuff. And here in the new year, I'm looking at some different things that I want to do and navigating how I want to kind of platform it. And I don't know if I want to, because there's the people that break down like every angle, every piece. I don't know if I want to do that. I mean, this is what we do. Right. So I think it's good to like have a discussion and maybe to have a bunch of people talking about different pieces of it as opposed to breaking it down, because there's people that do like 73 Easter eggs. But I will tell you, I watched the breakdown and then I watched the advanced breakdown of the breakdown, and all I did yesterday was watch Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness breakdown of the trailer. So.
Yeah, it was pretty intense, and I have a feeling there's going to be a few plot twists that we don't know about yet. But
oh, there's definitely going to be a lot. Now, but there's the reality that the What If cartoon is actually going to maybe be canon,
right.
With Captain Britain and all these other pieces coming in. I believe there's certain things about this that I believe in the trailer and whatnot, and so I do believe that we're going to get the Doctor Strange that from the What If, that because we see at one point that he goes like this, and coming out of his hands are like snakes,
tentacles or whatever,
and so and tentacles and whatnot. So I think we're going to get the Doctor Strange that has absorbed everything and gotten too involved.
Yeah.
But the Illuminati,
right?
Whatever they're going to call it, but the Illuminati of the comics. We know
there.
Professor X is there because whose voice could that have been?
There's only one.
It's Sir Patrick Stewart. I mean, is it Elton John? No. I mean, so it's but to me, it's like, and then when he said, "Should we tell him the truth?" That's where we get to realize the Illuminati. And I'd pay attention to everything. They just randomly, Marvel does nothing randomly. They just stated that the character who played Black Bolt in the Inhumans TV series is going to stay Black Bolt. Why would they announce that right before Doctor Strange, that has the Illuminati, that Black Bolt was an original member of?
Yeah, it sounds like you've done your research.
So
I'm going to trust your judgment on
there's
that.
some cool stuff coming. Mr. Fantastic could be coming into this thing. I do want to remind Marvel that I am definitely open to playing a role. So I would have a lot of fun with it. It will happen someday. I'm excited about it. But there's so much in this multiverse. I don't know if we've talked about it on the air, and we'll do some stuff with Superpowered Pop. But I got to do this in the Marywood Mania Takeover, especially since Rob opened the door to it for me. 3 Spider-Men.
Yeah.
What did you think?
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, I think they're going to have a little bit of a spin-off too. I actually believe, at least Andrew Garfield is going to get another movie. And
I think he's going to cross paths with Spider-Gwen, and he's going to get his Gwen Stacy back.
Yeah, that's a good plan. I like it.
Oh, I told Sony a long time ago, put me on the Spider-Man floor and leave me alone. I would have had 25 movies at this point. So with that being said, Enrico Mastroianni staying with us here of Marywood men's basketball. Jason Thiel going to be joining us here of baseball at Marywood. I am so ecstatic about what the three of us are going to talk about. We will do rapid fire.
Okay.
So we will be putting each other on the hot seat, and Enrico and Jason are going to have to find something nice to say about each other. That's all coming up after this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Keep it locked right here with us, where sports meets life, inside of the Cafe Cubal Studios. I can't thank you enough for being here in our Marywood Mania Takeover, as all our coverage of Marywood University coming to you every single month, and this being a bonus special. Literally flew in, landed, watched the title game of the NFL, and then got my butt out to Scranton, Pennsylvania to do this for you and to make sure that these coaches feel the love and the appreciation. Thank you to Pat Murphy and the entire staff here at Marywood University, and of course, Sis Prez, my sister Mary Persico, and everything that she's done to make Marywood such a wonderful place to come back to. We'll be back right after this.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York.
And welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. Cafe Kubal with you on 3501 James Street, as well as 401 South Salina Street in Syracuse, inside of downtown Syracuse, inside Galisano's Children's Hospital, as well as 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, and on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at their drive-through location at the Sweetheart Corners in North Syracuse. So, a lot of great stuff coming up here. It is the Marywood Mania Takeover. We have featured and we talked about it, Rob and I talked about how he needs to just make his title a little longer. But men's and women's cross country and track and field head coach Rob Ahrens joined the show. Marywood women's lacrosse head coach Kerrie Brown joined the show. Enrico Mastroianni sticking here with us on the broadcast. Marywood Pacers men's basketball head coach. And for the first time ever, Jason Thiel here with us, head baseball coach at Marywood. So, Jason, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. First time.
Yes, absolutely.
Glad to be here.
Absolutely, yeah. We connected last night, and I was like, hey, listen, I'm coming down, and would love to meet you and talk with you. And you said, hey, I'll pop right over, so I'm happy to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So, Jason, I'm going to jump right into it. I don't know if you know this, but Enrico and I have known each other for, well, you've been here how long?
7 years.
7 years.
Yeah.
So we've known each other pretty much almost the entire time that Enrico's been here. I enjoy roasting Enrico.
We all do.
Yeah,
So-
I was going to say, you're not alone. Yeah, no.
So I want you to tell me something about Enrico that maybe people don't know. Maybe something about, you know, what he does during the day, maybe some hallway mannerisms. Does he have to touch the doorknob 3 times? I just want to know something about Enrico.
No, what I love most about Enrico is Enrico usually covers our baseball games. So normally we have a site manager, and I think baseball is probably lowest on the totem pole of places you want to be in the spring for 8 to 9 hours. So to see Rico standing outside, freezing, from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. multiple times a week, that just goes to show you, you know, he's committed and. I guess the good guy that he is, he's always there for us. So you know that's
I do
Rico.
enjoy baseball. So
Yeah,
that makes it easier. But yeah,
now when it's 20-degree wind,
it's
and,
tough in the cold for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to coaches about this, you know, and Enrico has the blessing with Miss Jen Carlton of being inside.
Yeah.
But, you know, because we live in the Northeast, you know, there's snow, there's cold weather. Being a baseball coach and knowing that you go through this and knowing that the Yankees and the Mets have had to postpone games due to snow and whatnot, it's funny because, you know, the Diamondbacks are out there going, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? And you know, all the LA teams are sitting there like, yeah, we're fine. We've been good since January 17th or something like that. How do you navigate that? And do you ever get used to training in the cold and playing in the cold?
No. It's definitely it's a challenge, especially in our conference.
Yeah.
And Enrico tested this. I mean, we travel consistently, so most all of our conferences basically at least two hours south of us, if not more. So you're talking about 10 to 15 degrees warmer, you know, now. So some of these teams have been outside when we're really not able to. So it challenges us. We do use every avenue we can, whether that's indoor facilities, off-campus stuff, using the turf field when we can, because our field's not ready. But you know, if it's below 30-some degrees, we're not going to obviously have guys outside. So it's just it's a challenge to get done what you need to get done before the season starts.
You know, and I know that there's coaches in the baseball world that will train inside of the gym and do different things.
Yeah.
How do you utilize the facilities to your advantage here at Marywood?
Yeah, so with a roster of, you know, 33 to 35 guys, and then with everything else that goes on here at the gym, you know, priority with basketball, obviously they're in season, those type of things. Other teams, you know, we usually do 2-a-days, so we'll have guys split. We have an off-campus facility that we use a lot as well. Have maybe infielders here, pitchers maybe in the upstairs in the dance studio getting flat grounds done. Maybe they're off campus. Maybe we have outfielders at the turf field. So I mean that's why you utilize assistant coaches and you try to split guys up as much as you can. Weekends, obviously, you know, with class schedules, weekends is a big time. We have team practices together with everybody present at certain times. So you know, we may be in the gym going through. You know, offensive, defensive plays, those type of things. But yeah, it's a challenge for sure. But that's why we have assistant coaches and we try to break it up as much as we can.
What can you say about your coaching staff having 30-plus players? And you kept saying, you know, what you do to help navigate through everything and navigate through the weather and navigate through facilities and whatnot is to rely on your assistants. So what can you say about that?
We're all, I mean, we've all been at this since 2016, 17. We're all very close. We sort of all rely on each other. There's no, I guess, obviously I'm the head coach, but we sort of, you know, really work together very well on, hey, could we do this? Could we go here? We'll take them there. Everyone works full-time jobs, my assistant coaches, so they do this a lot on their time as well.
Yeah.
So it's long days for them. 2 of my assistant coaches just had babies recently, so.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations to.
Who are we shouting out? Can we shout them out?
Yeah, Coach Diskin and Coach Clifford.
Girls or boys that they have?
Coach Clifford just had his second boy, and Coach Diskin just had his first little boy. So recently, so it's a challenge. Obviously, you know, their wives. It's, you know, it's long for them as well, long days. So it's a commitment, and our guys know it. You know, they're appreciative of that. So we may go 4 to 6 here, and then we may be off campus from 9 to 11 at night. after babies go to bed, and after classes is over. So right now it's almost like a lot of two-a-days and just a lot of getting work done. So it's, we start in a couple days here.
I think Marywood could, and Marywood, just go with me on this for a second, and I would like Dan Tortora Broadcast Media LLC to be copywritten on this if you choose this. But I think having a Marywood sports coach nursery.
Yeah, that'd work.
I honestly think that if we could, and I think eventually as we see the evolution, we can see Little Hulk that Enrico has. we could see my dude running the ship here.
I was gonna say I don't know if they want him.
but I think if we had like a Marywood, kind of like in this room, right? Because you can't really hear anything. If we had another Hall of Fame room, but it was the Marywood Nursery.
That'd work.
Yeah. I feel like then you guys could all night long practice, do what you got to do, and we'd have somebody up here. We're all about creating jobs, right. So we could create some jobs here. And how about this? The students here on campus could get hours in different things. Maybe they could count it towards something to come up here and to take care of the children.
Part of the education.
Part of the education component, yeah.
Absolutely.
Dealing with, I think that it's a very helpful thing. If you ever want somebody to learn about life, hand them a baby.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
So Enrico, that we do on the show, tell me something good.
Yeah.
I want you to tell me something good about Jason.
I can tell you Jason is always upbeat and positive. We don't see him as much because his office is across campus, but whenever we do, he's always got, positive things to say, encouragement, and, he follows what happens here, even though he's not physically in this building. He knows what's going on with our teams, and he stays connected to it, and always, like I said, willing to offer a word of encouragement or, a congratulations text here and there when we win a game. I mean, he stays locked in what we're doing here, even though, like I said, he works a little bit from a distance across the other side of campus. But, he's working very hard every day, and, it's a challenge to have that many guys on a roster, and we're getting close to that, unfortunately, in basketball. I can feel his pain because I know it's hard to manage all those guys and the class schedules and everything. But in spite of it, he stays very positive.
Well, I think what they have to do with everything that's gone on with the pandemic is that you guys have to almost have like a practice squad.
Yeah.
Like a relief roster. And just, a bunch of guys that are ready to go if and when need be. They could be your scout team,
right.
And then you can have them come on, because I think, especially, we've talked about it with basketball, I think that at any division of basketball, you essentially need to have 30 people on your roster, mm-hmm. just to navigate through different things, and you have 30 plus. Jason, how do you navigate a schedule when, this is Division III, and so, at Division I, how do I put this interestingly? There are some universities that have everybody take the same classes, and they make sure that they're all available for practice at the same time.
Yeah.
So at Division III, it's obviously different. There's more purity of the sport. We talked about maybe this is the purest form of collegiate athletics. And so for you, how do you navigate 30 plus student athletes that are taking different majors, have different likes and dislikes? I know how crazy my schedule got just as me.
Sure.
So how do you try to find balance, and do you sit down with, and they have different advisors too, so how do you try to create a time where everybody can practice together?
It's tough, and I think obviously Enrico can attest, and the other coaches as well. You just be flexible,
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing, is you can't put too much pressure on the student athlete. So part of the recruiting tool when we talk to these guys, and we do have a lot of architecture majors, which becomes very difficult for these guys to manage some things. And guys are in aviation, or guys that are in clinicals or student teaching, those type of things. It's important for them. They gotta get it done. So it's just really being flexible, letting them know. Obviously, if it's a practice, go to class. We'll get you working afterwards. We have time and availability. We have coaches who will stay late, guys who will stay late, wherever that may be, to get your work in. So if it's a game, it's a different story. Obviously, stay connected with your professors. and your program. Obviously, it's smaller here, so you get to know them on a one-on-one basis very well. But it's just about staying connected with your program right away as well, and being flexible. Baseball is a little bit different than basketball, in the fact that we play outdoors. So we may be scheduled to play Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and now because of the snow and the rain, we're playing Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
Or we're going to miss Tuesday and Thursday classes because we weren't supposed to, but now we are because of the weather. So it's really about staying connected with your department. Make sure you're not missing classes when you're not supposed to, because you may get backed up a little bit. So that's a conversation that I think a lot of freshmen go through early and sophomores, and then once they get a little bit older, they start to figure that spring out is a little crazy. But yeah, I mean it's just about I always just ask for communication from my guys.
Yeah.
Just let me know what's going on and we'll talk about it. So we're pretty open in those ways.
Excited to be here with you. Marywood Mania Takeover, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of Marywood University and these Pacers. And every Friday between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern Time, we have Pacer Pride exclusive specials. And you get to hear from these coaches, student athletes, and of course, the executive director of athletics, Pat Murphy. This today is a bonus show dedicated to Marywood University, wall-to-wall coverage, multiple coaches here in the Hall of Fame room and having some fun, appreciating it. And one of my closest friends, someone I consider a brother, and his daughter and son are my niece and nephew. That's how close we have become. So shout out to LJ and Lorelei. He played baseball at Marywood University, Ross Turetsky, and he said that he wanted to thank everybody today for showing some love for baseball. So know that even though you weren't his coach, he very much appreciates, and he's living in Dallas, PA, not too far away. He's very appreciative of the fact that you're on here this morning. So thank you for that.
Yeah, and I've heard of Ross. I think my assistant coaches know him and have played with him, have talked about him before. So yeah, I'm glad he's still connected, and as many alums that can come back and reach out and show up, and we appreciate all that. We talk to our guys all the time about, you're not just playing for each other, but there's alumni out there that track and watch everything that you're doing, and you represent them as well. So we want to thank all of them.
Enrico, I want to see how well you know Jason.
Okay.
Oh boy.
So it's Jason's birthday. When is your birthday, Jason?
May 27th.
May 27th. Okay, day after my best friend Evan, May 26th. So and Evan got pissed at how I know that. It's because X2, X-Men United came out on his birthday, and it makes him so mad that's how. Yeah. I was like, dude, I love X-Men. It's when Nightcrawler got released. Anywho, so May 27th. So let's pretend it's May 27th.
Okay.
It's Jason's birthday.
Okay.
You have to get him a gift and take him somewhere that shows that you really pay attention to him.
Okay.
Where do you take him, and what do you get him to show him that you are a true friend and you know him well?
All right.
Enrico.
I'm going to get him a bag of sunflower seeds because that's what coaches in baseball usually like to chew on during a game.
That works.
Yes.
And I'm going to take him to DSW to show me how to buy nice shoes like that.
That works.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that works for me.
And if he shows me how, maybe I'll buy him a pair of shoes.
Okay. All right.
That works. Perfect.
Is that an okay answer?
We'll take it. Yeah. I like shoes.
What is it about baseball that obviously you're not out there chewing tobacco?
No.
But you guys have to chew something.
Yeah.
So it's bubble gum, but like mounds of it, or it's sunflower seeds or pumpkin seeds. Why is there this weird correlation between I love baseball and I have to constantly like be chewing on something?
It's just the generations of what it is as you're a kid.
Yeah.
Everyone had Big League Chew. They shoved in as much as you can. The white powder all over your uniform.
I love Big League
It
Chew.
starts then, and then sunflower seeds as a kid, you don't know how to split them, so you just chew them and eat them and grind them.
Yeah.
And then you progressively learn how to do it correctly. So, but
I still don't know how to eat sunflower seeds.
It's still a challenge for
It's
some of our guys.
one at a time for me. I can't.
Yeah.
I
Some guys pour a bag in their mouth and it's all spitting out all the time.
Yeah.
I bite it until I feel like I got the salt off of it, and then I spit that out.
Yeah.
I try to get something
It's funny
out of
because
it.
now like all these new complexes and turf fields that you play at, that's the one big sign that you get. No sunflower seeds. Yeah, it's just everywhere. But hey, you're at a baseball field and we talked about it earlier with Enrico. I mean, we can show up at 10 o'clock to play at 12, a doubleheader, and we're leaving at 6. So, these guys they got to eat something.
Sometimes you get a rain delay in that too. Yeah. So you gotta wait to do that.
Yeah. Sunflower seeds sometimes act as a meal, so it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
How long, in your opinion, should a game wait in a rain delay? because we've seen like the Yankees wait all day.
Yeah.
Like they're supposed to go off at 1 o'clock and it's like 9:17 p.m. and they're like, I think they're gonna play now. And I'm like, if I'm a fan, do I go home? I mean, with the traffic, why you really can't go anywhere. But how long is long enough for a rain delay?
Well, I think obviously in the pros, they have all the expert things
Yeah.
to do. But for us, we can sort of tell by the field and the situation of where we're going to be at. If we have standing water all around, we know you can probably go home. But I mean, we have a really good field guy, and we rely on him. And obviously, he's got the radar, and he does everything that needs to be done to get the field ready for us. And so we sort of go off of his advice. But I mean, it could last anywhere from 10 minutes to an hour. I mean, it takes time to get the field ready. Plus, with our conference, if a team's traveling 4 or 5 hours, we're gonna obviously try to wait it out as long as we can.
Enrico, you help with the games. How long is long enough for a rain delay?
10 minutes. No. Honestly, I understand the sport, and I understand they got to get the games in. And like Jason said, when teams travel, you don't want to waste that trip. So
no,
I would say an hour, maybe an hour and a half. I think at most. But
yeah.
At some point, the bus driver has to have the bus back by a certain time, or he's outside of his parameters for driving. So you have to be careful with that. But
so we're going to go to rapid fire in a second. But before we go there, Jason, I'm going to ask you a question to see how well you know Enrico.
Okay.
So we know, I think you should know, and you saw us celebrate there with the Doctor Strange thing. I have to make sure that I watch this because Enrico will take it. But but I have to ask you this question. The one thing that we haven't done is we need to go to Disney together.
Yeah.
That's something we haven't done. Because I believe that going to Disney with Enrico, whenever I go, should I buy? Yeah, you should buy it.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like he would never tell me, don't. Be like, no, you should get it. My girlfriend just came with me, and I said to her, I go, well, what do you think? She goes, if you like it, buy it. I'm like, that's not the answer.
Yeah,
but, I didn't go crazy, but I did get a Black Panther bag. And it was funny because we went to buy ponchos, and she wanted to get something. And I go, what's that back there? And they go, it's a Doctor Strange. I saw the box. I didn't even look at it. I just saw the box, and I saw it was limited edition. I was like, I didn't even look at the price. I was like, give me that. Give me the pass holder pin. And I have no idea what I'm spending at this point. And I'm just like, rack it up, and I get a discount for being a pass holder. So I was like, do what you got to do. But we're going to talk about Enrico now. So you know that he likes Marvel.
Yeah.
Okay.
I learned that today.
You learned that today. Okay. If you could make Enrico any Marvel character, what character do you think Enrico should be, and what city do you think he should protect?
Let's see. So Enrico, I guess I would go with maybe Sandman.
Wow.
And maybe you protect West Side.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a West Side boy, and his West Side friends over there sometimes, he has to go back over there and protect those guys. I know some of those guys, so that they speak highly of Enrico. So,
I appreciate that.
I think protecting West Side would be the best bet.
All right, he would make you Sandman. Okay.
Is that a Marvel character? I hope it is.
It is. It's a Marvel villain.
Yeah.
Kind of an anti-hero.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Thomas
Right.
Hayden Church.
He's pretty tough.
He is.
Pretty tough.
So I'm gonna continue this with you, Jason, because I love to get to know this. So Enrico, share with everybody your birthday.
August 8th.
August 8th. It's August 8th. We're
Yeah.
pretending, and a great day for baseball.
Yeah.
And here on August 8th, you have to go on a trip with Enrico to show me how well you know him. Where are you taking Enrico, and what are you doing with him for the day?
We go to South Carolina, and we hit the links.
Yeah.
We go golfing. Yeah,
Love that.
absolutely.
All
I heard there's good golf down there. I've been down there, but I'm not a huge golfer. But I know Enrico likes to golf a little bit,
Yeah.
so that'd be a good way to sort of a nice August morning would be nice.
South Carolina, I like it. Okay,
Actually
so
going to Myrtle Beach this summer.
There you go.
So, yeah.
so you knew.
And it might be on my birthday.
Am I
actually,
invited?
so yeah, I mean, it sounds like you already planned
All
the
right,
trip.
let's
so.
do it. Yeah.
Well, yeah. See, what happened is Enrico just told Jason that he's going,
Yeah.
and maybe around his birthday, and Jason said he'd take him there. So what Jason doesn't realize he did is he's paying for
You're
Enrico
covering
and
the
his
trip. Yeah,
family
you're
to
covering
cover the
I've
trip.
committed. Yeah, I've committed to this. Yeah, and the family. Sure.
Very nice. I like it.
We'll make it a big family.
we're there. Yeah. We'll team up.
So we're jumping into rapid fire in just a second here with Jason Thiel, head baseball coach of Marywood University, and Marywood University's men's basketball head coach Enrico Mastroianni, myself, Dan Tortora, a proud alum of Marywood. inside of this Marywood Mania Takeover in the Cafe Kubal Studios here on site at the Hall of Fame room at Marywood University in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Before we jump into rapid fire, I want to know two things from you gentlemen. One, and Jason, I'll start with you. How would you describe a pacer to a potential recruit? And secondly, what would you want to say to the prospective student athletes out there on why they should come to Marywood?
Well, I think a pacer is someone really who grinds, on and off the court. I think men and women here, both sports, they put in a lot of time in their sport, but also in their classroom. Educationally, the standards are very high here in a lot of our programs. It's a lot of commitment on both ends. So a student athlete here is definitely a grinder, and get used to long days. Getting to know your teammates and your classmates on a great level. The classrooms are a little bit smaller size here, so in your program, so you get to know people on that one-on-one basis. So education here is amazing. We always say education's 1, and obviously athletics is 1A. That's the way it is here. We're like a family. So it's I think once you're a pacer, you're a pacer for life. We always say that, especially to our alumni. But I like to call all of our guys grinders. I know that it's long days for them in and out of the classroom and off the field. So that's how I would describe one of our pacers.
I have to ask you this before I ask the same thing to Enrico. Enrico, I said before you came on to Kerrie Brown, because I donated to both of your programs during Giving Day, that you guys have this healthy back and forth.
Yeah, no, it's good competition.
So I've donated to Marywood men's and women's basketball. I've donated to women's lacrosse. I've donated to Marywood. So, Jason, this is the first time that you're sitting in on the show. Pitch me on why on Giving Day I should donate to Marywood baseball.
Because we need money.
I love how in 2022 we've just become so direct.
Yeah,
why donate? Because I need it.
We really.
I like it.
At our level, it's all about fundraising.
Yeah.
And Enrico will tell you that it's all about fundraising. And our guys do it from the jump when they get here in August. We're fundraising we have a Florida trip that we go to. That's very, very expensive. That we fly out over spring break, but equipment, those type of things, it costs money. So, especially now with the pandemic and budgets and those type of things, it's become more challenging on parents as well. So as much as that we could fundraise, and we always do, Giving Day is obviously another big day for us to try to fundraise, secure some funds for our guys. It all goes back to them. Everyone likes nice stuff. What ruins it is all these Division I schools that lay out 30 different T-shirts and 25 different pairs of spikes.
Yeah.
That sort of ruins it for all of us. Yeah. That ruins it for all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember Rakeem Christmas at Syracuse. He had just shoes that I've never seen sold by Nike.
Right.
And there was a box, and they were on the road we were at a tournament or something, and there was just rows of shoes that looked like they had never been touched. It was like 16 pairs of shoes, and I'm thinking to myself, they just called you up and said, what colors do you like?
Yeah.
And then just made you a pair of shoes. And that to me is insane. So for Division III, and we talked about it before, fundraising is not just a part of it, it's all of it, and it's crucial.
Yeah.
And so it's very, very important. Enrico, what does it mean for you, in your opinion, to be a pacer? And what do you want to say to recruits out there, and just what Marywood brings to it? Why Marywood? Why be a pacer? What does it mean to be a pacer? And why should they come here and be a part of a program that you have dedicated your blood, sweat, and tears to for 7 years?
I think being a pacer means that you can do it all, and you can be involved in athletics, you can be involved in extracurricular activities of other kinds, and be a great student, get an internship, get set up for future success in your career. There's great potential, and it's very accommodating to the student here, not just the student athlete, but just to the students in general. How involved you can get in everything, and the experiences that you can take away from it that will help catapult you into your career in the future. And I think, it goes back to, there's a lot of pride in it, being a pacer, and I think we've adopted that over the last several years now in athletics, especially where you're starting to see it kind of meander across campus, and the lamp posts with the flags on them, and just everybody's talking about being a pacer and what that means. And I think you watch it in the athletes when they perform. You see their tireless effort. Their like Jason said, their grind. I mean, they're constantly in the weight room, they're on the court, they're on the fields, they're running around campus. I mean, it's something to embrace and feel empowered by. So I think being a Pacer is a pretty special thing. And for recruits, I mean, you know, being part of our program, it's you got to be tough. I mean, you got to be tough. You got to be driven. You know, Division III, unfortunately, we have parameters of when we can and cannot work with the student athlete. A lot of it has to be driven by themselves. They have to intrinsically be motivated to be great. And if they come here with that kind of intensity and that effort and enthusiasm, then we have a great program for them to matriculate through.
That coming from Enrico Mastroianni. It's time for rapid fire on this Marywood Mania takeover. I get to ask a question to each of these gentlemen. They get to ask me back. And guess what? Then I get to sit back as the host of the show and watch them ask each other. So, Enrico, I will start with you.
Of course.
If you could make a magic band, as we talked about before, if you could make a magic band of any Marvel character and show, what would you choose and what would you put on the magic band?
I mean, it's probably already been made, I guess, right? But I would say probably like an Avengers band, but I would include Spider-Man in it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the one thing that I get frustrated with sometimes is like, especially for Marco, you know, he's like a big Spider-Man guy.
Yeah.
But he loves all of them, all the characters. So like, whenever we try to get him birthday stuff, you can find the Avengers and then you can find Spider-Man stuff, but you can never find them all together. And that gets frustrating. So I guess that has something to do with the Sony relationship, right?
Yeah, it has something to do with the fact that, and Marvel's trying to correct it, because Marvel in the background buying back all this property, they're like, oh, there's a multiverse. Yeah. Oh, there was a ripped hole. Oh, you know, Scarlet Witch, she got rid of all the X-Men by accident. Now they're coming back, and now Patrick Stewart's totally fine.
There's tricks in there somewhere, right?
There's always a way to correct it. And the funny thing about DC, who has almost, well, recently they've done okay, but DC had this run of time where they just screwed up all the time. Almost like that was their motto, was like, let's just mess everything up. Let's take what Marvel did successfully and let's do the opposite. And DC, all they need to do, and once again, they have continued to let fans down, the Flash has a thing called Flashpoint. He runs back in time, he saves his parents, and he screws up the entire universe and all these timelines, and everything changes. All they need to do is have the Flashpoint movie say, hey, guess what? We just erased all the mistakes we made for 30 years, and none of it happened. And that's the one movie they keep putting off, and oh, it's coming. Oh, it's coming. Oh, it's coming. I was like, listen, this is a movie that you need to make sooner than later to tell everybody I'm sorry.
This was all a joke.
Right, this was all a joke. It didn't happen. All I know is that Michael Keaton's coming back as Batman, and I'm happy with that.
That's good. Yeah.
So, what's your question for me, Enrico?
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to Jason next. I wasn't ready for that. Hold on. All right, let's talk.
Jason, he always says he's not ready. He's done this for 7 years.
Let's talk about DC for a minute. All right. So we always talk about Marvel. If you were a DC fan rather than a Marvel fan, who is your favorite character and why?
My favorite character is the Flash.
Okay.
And I became a fan of the Flash because I love the TV show. I love Grant Gustin. I think he is the Flash. Ezra Miller has this really awkward scene in this one movie with Amy Schumer, and I can't get it out of my head. And if you knew the scene, and some of you do that are watching, if you knew the scene I'm talking about, it makes you so uncomfortable about him doing anything. Because he's so awkward in the movie that all I picture is what he said and who he is in that movie. But, you know, and listen, I want Ezra Miller to do well, and I hope the best for him. But I like Grant Gustin. I fell in love with the Flash that way. I love the villains. I love Reverse Flash. I love, you know, a kind of Godspeed. You know, there's a lot of really, really cool stuff and hats and I don't know. I became a fan of the Flash very easily, but I grew up on Superman. So my Superman will always be, and I got to meet him in person and talk to him. My Superman is Dean Cain. So Dean Cain is always going to be my Superman. So
Lois and Clark.
Lois and Clark. Yeah.
Cool.
The Adventures of Superman. Yeah. And still to this day, I remember this one episode that I can't watch. And it's this episode where this villain put this thing on his head, and it like pushed in and out, and it was sucking like his power out of him, but it was sucking it through his brain. I can't deal with. I'll never forget that scene.
I don't know if I remember that one.
And he literally was like in like a garage, and he was up against like a pole, and this thing's just sucking at him, and he can't pull it off of his head, and it made me really uncomfortable. Yeah, I don't like it.
I definitely don't remember that.
And I was also very much had a crush on Terry Hatcher, who played Lois Lane. So I'm saying that.
You weren't alone.
All right, Jason, my question for you. Oh, this is the first rapid fire we're doing. Got to make this a good one. All right, Jason. You can, okay, I'm going to make this a multi-parter.
Uh-oh.
You can assemble, living or dead,
Mm-hmm.
you can assemble your star lineup of baseball players, and you can be their head coach.
Sure.
Who's your lineup, and what city do you play in?
Lineup from like 1 through 9.
Yeah, I want to hear everybody.
Wow. Wow, you're going deep here, huh?
I am. I know Ross is like, let's go, because I mean, this is something I'm sure he thinks about all the time.
Just off the top of my head, so I'll go Pujols at first.
Okay.
I will go Chase Utley at second because I love Utley.
Okay.
I'll go Jeter at short.
Gotta go Jeter.
Gotta go Jeter at short. I will go. Let me go the outfield because I'm thinking here. I'm gonna go Ken Griffey in center.
Okay.
I'll put Trout in left.
Okay.
And in right field, I'll go Barry Bonds.
Okay.
Third base.
Barry Bonds, pre or post Michelin Man?
I'll go Barry Bonds in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I'll go Bonds Pittsburgh, like about 180. At third base, there's a lot of good third basemen. I always love Wade Boggs.
Okay.
He's always like a scrappy little player that I always liked. So
I love that he went to. I was there when he was playing at Tampa.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. Towards the end of his career there.
Yeah.
Behind the plate, I don't know. I always like Joe Mauer. He's always been a big fan of mine. On the mound, I'll go Randy Johnson. Growing up, he was always intimidating.
My favorite pitcher of all time.
Yeah.
Randy Johnson.
When he killed the pigeon.
I'm a Diamondback fan, so he gave me a championship.
And I'll play in Philly. I mean, that's my squad.
You're playing in Philly.
I'm playing
okay.
in Philly. Yeah.
I heard the Utley thing. I heard that he threw that little Utley in there. So yeah. Philly's got a nice arena. I like it. I've been out there I was out there for a Phillies Mets game where the Phillies came back in the game. Good game.
It's a good rivalry.
I think it was like 5-4 in that game.
Yeah. It's a game you definitely want to attend in person.
All right, what's your question for me?
Tell me, you're perfect. You have one day sporting event you could take in. Tell me where you're going and what it is.
Okay. So anywhere. So I have to pick one.
Yep.
Okay.
Just one.
I would have to. So I've been to the NCAA tournament. I've been to the Sweet 16, the Elite Eight. I've been to the Final Four. I've been to the championship game. I have been to the NFL playoffs. I have been in the NBA playoffs, maybe with Orlando. So I would say there's two things that I would think of that come to mind. One of them is I've never been to the Super Bowl. I can thank the Patriots for that. I cover the Jaguars. This is my 12th year. And one of the coolest things, and I didn't know this, is that as an accredited member of the media for the NFL, if we want to apply for the Super Bowl, we have to apply by November. Because I didn't know that. So Jacksonville was in the Final Four. It was Jacksonville Patriots, AFC. NFC was Eagles, Vikings. And so we got notice from the Jaguars PR staff and all that. They got in touch with us, the media communications, and they said, hey, if you want to apply for the Super Bowl, you have to apply by this date. Here's the link, whatever. So I applied to the NFL, and never have I experienced this before. They keep seats open. No matter who applies during the year, they keep seats open for the people that cover the teams that are potentially going to be there. So they, those of us that have been dedicated and have been on site on location, we're on the list. So I applied for it, and I got an email back, and they said, thank you for applying. If and when your team, the Jacksonville Jaguars, is to advance, we'll be in touch with you. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. So I went to the AFC Championship game, and I went to the Belly of the Beast. I went to Foxborough, and good old Gillette. And I've never felt this way in a stadium before. I was walking in, I had my briefcase on my shoulder, and I looked down at my shadow. It was a sunny day, it was cold. And I looked down at my shadow on the ground, and I looked up at the opening, and something inside of me, I get chills now. Something inside of me was like, this place that I'm walking into, this is business. This is not a game, this is business. And I had that feeling like I was literally walking in to the belly of the beast. Like, not a lot of people come out of here alive. And I felt that. And so when the Patriots won, they not only kept my favorite team, Jacksonville, out of the Super Bowl, but they kept me personally out of it. So I think what it was is that God didn't want me to go to a Super Bowl in Minnesota. He wanted me to go to a warm weather one.
That's true.
So like down the road, hopefully, just remember me. But yeah, so I would say I'd want to go to the Super Bowl because I've never been, and I'd want to go to all the festivities.
Yeah.
I'd want to go to all the concerts. I want to go to all the, different media opportunities. I want to be on site. I want to be on location. I want to take it in. So I'd probably say that.
That works. And he'd like to see the Browns there as well.
Oh my gosh, yeah. That I hope someday, if not me, Marco gets a chance to see that happen because, whenever we think we're close, it's never really close.
Yeah, and I'm a Dolphins fan, so my son is 12, and the poor kid is just never going to experience a winner his whole life.
The thing about the Dolphins is they've only been rebuilding since Marino retired.
Yeah, yep. I keep telling my son that too. One day.
Yeah, but one of my favorite players, last guy to wear number 44 at Syracuse, Rob Conrad, friend of mine, been on the show. Truly, to me, is like being able to interview Rob Conrad and meet him was one of the most awesome things. And I liked when he went to Miami, I was always paying attention to number 44. So, and it was Zach Thomas, Jason Taylor, Dan Marino. Big fan. I was a big fan of Irving Fryer and O.J. McDuffie.
Yeah.
Love O.J. McDuffie.
Yep.
State, shout out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah.
That I think Kareem tried to sue, but he's like, wait a minute, I have an I and not two E's. Pardon you.
That's true.
So I remember those days too. Number 33.
Yep. I've been through all those days. Yes.
So now it's time for me to watch you guys do this. Enrico, put Jason on the hot seat for me.
Okay, Jason, when I first started here at Marywood, you were actually an assistant coach on the baseball team. You played here at Marywood.
I did.
And you've been around this program for a long time. Tell me now as a head coach, and this is what, sixth year?
Yeah.
Fifth year.
Yep.
As a head coach, what lesson have you learned the most, whether, good or bad, being in the front seat instead of the second one?
Yeah, I think obviously with leadership comes responsibilities. And I think.
Does he know that he just quoted Spider-Man?
Yeah, right? I don't know if he does.
With great power comes great responsibility. Wow, you did that on accident.
This is what I do.
Closet Marvel fan,
This is what I do.
You got both of our votes now, whatever you want. We'll donate now. We will donate.
Perfect. Giving
Day, yes.
March 30th, please.
Our note's going to be with great power comes great responsibility.
And it's true because I think because I was an assistant coach too, is after practice, a lot of times you go home and you get your stuff done. With being in the spot, there's so much more that goes into it. And it's just, obviously we talked about the fundraising end of it, the scheduling end of it, it's just everything that the guy, obviously the guys and what they're going through, the players, their schedules, their classes, we need tutors, we need, hygiene in class, it's off the field stuff, it's, it really, and we love it. But it just never turns off, and that's 12 months out of the year. And you kick into the whole recruiting end of it, so it's and having those guys on campus and it's a full-time gig for sure. It's 12 months out of the year, but we love it, and this is what we do. That's why we rely on assistant coaches and obviously guys who help out and. It's a big team, it's a big family, but yeah, it's definitely all those other things that maybe you don't realize that go into it. Even the little things that you need to do, even all the little meetings that we have here and things that you may miss in your busy day that you need to get done. But at the end of the day, you're here to win and develop athletes. And we always say, if guys come in, when we recruit guys, if you don't leave here in 4 years better, then that's our fault as a person. So there's a lot more that goes into it than just coaching a team. It's you're developing young men and in different ways. So
I say all the time, and joking but not, is I'm Marywood men's basketball coach 24 hours a day, 365 days a year.
Yeah.
You don't turn it off, and holidays and whatever it is, whatever circumstances you have going on at home and family obligations, something comes up with your team, you got to go. That's just what it is. So.
Absolutely.
Just to come off of this, Coach Joe had been here forever for baseball. And so, I mean, what did it mean to you to take over a program that had a face that had been here for so long?
Joe Ross.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Jerry Davis. So
Yeah.
there was, and those two were both of my coaches when I was here. So
Yeah, because
it's-
Joe Ross was the whole time I was here.
Yeah, and he recruited me. I was a local kid. He recruited me here. And then Coach Davis was the assistant coach, and then Coach Davis took over for Coach Ross, and then it was me. And it's, you know, it's really an honor to follow those guys because I looked up to those guys. We went through the grind with those guys. Yeah, I mean, they were through a lot of things in my life too. So it's like, you know, you reach out to those guys. I just saw Coach Ross the other day. I could reach out to those guys at any time.
Yeah.
But to be like the third head coach is, you know, in the history of the program is pretty cool. I'm a graduate. I work here. I'm an alum. My kids are always involved here. So we always say it's a family thing, and it means something. You know, to be a Pacer, it means something. But for us, our whole coaching staff is Marywood graduates, and we all have a connection here. There's just something about this place that brings you back. It's a community. It's obviously it's a team. Those type of things. But yeah, so it's been an awesome ride so far.
I know he was head of security as well. Has he given you, you know, like just low key given you some keys to any vehicles or anything?
No, that was back in the day. Yeah. What I loved about Coach Ross is he would make it mandatory for us to come see him once a week in his office. His secretary didn't like it very much, but
Yeah.
having 30 guys in and out of your office all day. But yeah, he was a great guy, and I still love to see him locally at sporting events and coaching and those type of things.
Awesome. What is your question for Enrico?
I guess it'd be two parts. So we talked about you know, me coaching in the transition. Tell me, you've been here, obviously coaching for years here now. Tell me how you handle you know, personal life with coaching.
Mm-hmm.
And then part two is, if you could have any powers of a superhero, what would that power be?
I love that. That's a great question. Well, I'll start with the handling the personal side of things versus the coaching side. It's really challenging, and in today's world with social media, it's even more challenging. You know, I have my own accounts for Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, all that stuff. I find that I don't even spend any time there because I'm always doing stuff with the team, and it's hard to separate that. But on the flip side, the scheduling is really the hardest part, you know, because most of the time we have to practice at 9 p.m., you know, because the guys are in class. Sometimes night class goes until 9, and, you know, sometimes we'll be here until 11. And then, you know, as a head coach, you don't always leave right away. And my staff stays with me for a little while. We talk, we recap practice, but then there's other things that I still have to do to finish up the day. Sometimes I don't walk in the house until like, you know, 12:15, 12:30 in the morning, and, you know, walk into an empty house. I mean, everybody's sleeping, and only the dog's staring at me, begging to go out, and you know, and then it's like you kind of have to unwind a little bit still because you're still amped up from doing all that. So there's challenges that are associated with that. Like I don't see my kids much in the morning. You know, they come in and I'm asleep, and they say goodbye to me when they get on the bus to go to school, and at night they're in bed before I get home, and, you know, those are things that you kind of sacrifice, but we've grown accustomed to it. My kids have grown up in it. When I started as a head coach at Centenary College back in 2008, we were only pregnant with Angelina, and not, you know, she hadn't been born yet.
Sure.
So they've only known this, you know, so that makes it a little bit easier on them that they expect it that way, but it doesn't ever really make it easier at home, you know, for the whole family experience. But as far as the superpower, I guess, you know, that makes me wonder. I don't know if there is a superpower where I could kind of duplicate myself, but I think
Multiple man.
Yeah.
X-Men character.
There you go. See, I don't know the X-Men as well, so I need Dan for that. But you know, you think if I could be in more than one place at one time, that would really solve a lot of problems, wouldn't it?
For
you know, I mean, super speed would be helpful because then I wouldn't need to even drive. I could just run home, and that would be good.
Nightcrawler, teleportation.
Teleportation, anything that would.
Flight of Angel.
I love it. Yeah, anything that would get me to transport myself quicker than I can right now.
I want teleportation. We could literally, if I wanted to, if I had Nightcrawler powers right now, all we would have to do is hold hands in this moment, and I could take us to Italy.
Yeah.
We could go get a slice of pizza and then be back here
Just come back
for a meeting.
Yeah.
I love it.
That works.
That would work.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
I want.
a great question.
I want teleportation. Yeah, it was funny that you asked the second part of the question that way, because I'm like, Enrico's going to say that he needs whatever power for what you're asking him for in the first question.
Yeah, true. That's the way it works.
So with that being said, we have one more fast break, and I have some notes for you. So to wrap up the Marywood Mania Takeover, Enrico Mastroianni, the Marywood Pacers men's basketball head coach, and for the first time ever on the broadcast, and the third coach ever in the history of Marywood baseball, Joe Ross, Jerry Davis, and now you, Jason Thiel, head baseball coach at Marywood University, telling us to donate. Why? Because they want you to.
Because we need it.
We need it. So make sure you give back to Marywood University. I am proud to give back all the time here. And I told Enrico, and now Jason will know this, MU Courtside, my baby, created it back in 2003. Those broadcasts to cover men's and women's basketball, and we've done volleyball, and I was always open to doing other things, doing baseball and expanding it. I would love, there's a lot of ideas that I have on what I'd like to do here with digital media and broadcasting and the sports department, because I've always tried to be a link between the two. But I want to put my name on that court. I want to sign my name on that court. And in parentheses, I'm going to put Enrico was here. But we got to make it happen. So Marywood University, we've had the takeover. Kerrie Brown as well. Rob, Ahrens, Jason Thiel, Enrico Mastroianni, for all the coaches, all the student athletes, all the alumni, and all the prospective student athletes and students for all that is to come, was, and continues to be at Marywood University. Thank you for being a part of, in my opinion, a place that will always be home. We'll take a step aside from the Cafe Kubal studios and be back right after this.
Cafe Cabal Mobile Cafe brings the cafe experience to you. We'll roll out to your neighborhood or office, ready to serve our locally crafted espresso bar to our loyal patrons. Inquire at cafecubal.com. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge, and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item, available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, you can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
Here at Progressive Dental, we understand the importance of regular dental visits and preventive care. Cleanings and checkups are essential to good oral health. We have multiple locations in the Southern Tier, so come visit us in Binghamton, Enwell, Kirkwood, Montrose, and Norwich. For self-pay non-insured patients, we offer the Smile Plan, which covers all of your cleanings, x-rays, and exams for an affordable yearly price. Call 607-754-2273 or 607-754-CARE to make an appointment today. For more information, visit our website at progressivedentalny.com.
The Millhouse Market, located on 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York, is worth the drive every time. Make your way over to the Millhouse Market every Tuesday through Sunday for breakfast, lunch, and dinner at the Millhouse Market, supporting local and supporting Central and Upstate New York with homemade breads, homemade desserts, as well as their quinoa bowls, rice bowls, salads, brick oven pizzas, and sandwiches named after the families that helped to settle today's Pulaski. Ingrained in our community and ingrained in our taste buds, the Millhouse Market is truly a unique experience with a drive-through window to grab your food and go. And you also have the opportunity to connect with the Millhouse Market by going inside to their general store with local products from local companies. And on top of all of that, they have an indoor dining bistro opportunity for you where their menu changes every single week inside of their bistro restaurant. Head off to the Millhouse Market today for flavors your taste buds have never had like this together. Everything is truly unique, truly special, and truly a work of art. Thanks to Rebecca Elford and the entire team at the Millhouse Market for being so special and being worth the drive every time to 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I want to thank you for being a part of today's show. Inside of the Hall of Fame room at Marywood University, overlooking the beautiful campus and the beautiful facilities, this has been Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. I want to thank Cafe Kubal on 3501 James Street in Syracuse and on 401 South Salina Street in Syracuse, as well as at 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, inside of Galisanos Children's Hospital, minutes from the Dome in downtown Syracuse, and on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in their drive-through location in North Syracuse. We will be at Cafe Kubal a week from today on February 22nd, which I'm very excited about, with a very special guest. So we'll see you out there. MON-FRI's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory in Scranton, PA, Northeast PA, every single state inside of the United States of America, and right there in your backyard is Central New York on 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. You can order from MON-FRI's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory for all of your events and have MON-FRI right here at Marywood University by ordering online at maandpauspopcorn.com. That's maandpauspopcorn.com. Big thanks to you for watching and listening every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. You're always watching us on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, and on facebook.com/livenowdt. And you're always listening on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, as well as on wakeupcalldt.com. Once the shows go live, they jump into our archive on MixLR, Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Podbean, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on any one of these channels, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. And a proud thanks to all of our partners in Central and Upstate New York. A big thanks to Cafe Kubal, Carvel DeWitt, as well as by going to the Wildcat Sports Pub, MON-FRI's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, Progressive Dental, Avicoli's Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, the Millhouse Market, Lemoyne Dolphins, Pizza Man, Honda City of Liverpool, PB&J's Lunchbox, and Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, as well as Mother's Cover, where we have an all-new food challenge coming up for you. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is the proud multimedia marketing partner of your Lemoyne College. And you can get more information on Lemoyne by being with us every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time for Dolphin Time. First and third Wednesday, new episodes of AD and DT with Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora. Every second and fourth Wednesday, Dolphin Dive features us diving into the story of student athletes, coaches, as well as staff members, alumni, and future students of Lemoyne College. Get more information by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, as well as on the Lemoyne tab of wakeupcalldt.com. And of course, get up-to-date information by going to LemoyneDolphins.com. Tortora is also the proud multimedia marketing partner of your Bryant and Stratton Bobcats in Syracuse, New York. Bryant and Stratton, Syracuse. The Bobcat Buzz coming to you every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. And of course, you can go to the Bryant and Stratton page being added to wakeupcalldt.com. Go to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt for our inaugural edition of Bobcat Buzz with many of the coaches there at Bryant and Stratton College of Syracuse for the Bobcats. And make sure you stay tuned to our exclusive content coming to you every single month here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. And of course, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com for more information. And of course, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is the proud multimedia marketing partner, exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Marywood University Pacers. It is Pacer Pride, and every single Friday, the Marywood Pacers join the broadcast for specials entitled Pacer Pride, and they are there for you on youtube.com/WakeUpCallDT, so subscribe there, and you'll also be able to find them on the Marywood tab of WakeUpCallDT.com. Get more information at MarywoodPacers.com, and as always, go Pacers here in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and beyond. With that being said, I thank you all for watching and listening to this Marywood Mania Takeover. And I want to thank all of the coaches, student athletes, past, present, and future of Marywood University. I want to give a special thanks to Executive Director of Athletics, Pat Murphy. And I want to thank my guest today, Rob Ahrens, men's and women's cross country and track and field head coach, as well as Kerrie Brown, Marywood women's lacrosse head coach. I want to thank Marywood men's basketball head coach Enrico Mastroianni. And on the show for the first time ever, Jason Thiel, the third coach in the history of Marywood Pacers baseball. So thank you to all the coaches. Thank you to the coaches that were here today and the coaches that will be here coming up. Every single sport matters here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, every coach and every student athlete. We look forward to sharing their stories with you in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Marywood University here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora in what we call Pacer Pride. In the meantime, find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram here. Facebook at WakeUpCallDT, Twitter at CallDT, Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT. And as always, God bless, no stress, do your best. This is Wake Up Call, and I can't